What's up, fellow weeps, and welcome back to another video. So I'm gonna try and keep a series going called the Hyperfixation series, where basically I just give you a lot of pros and cons about a thing that I hyperfixated on at one point. And it's gonna be fun. Hopefully. So today I'm gonna be doing Soul Eater. It's my favorite anime, and it's perfect in every way. Yeah. So, my first, what's the word? My first pro of the series is that the characters are well written, like insanely well written, except for the fan service characters for the most part, but most, if not all, of the characters are really well written. Even the ones that don't, appear at all are well written. So, I'm gonna start with my favorite character, Krona. So, if you don't know, Krona is villain turned hero, supposedly. So, basically, Krona is... How do I explain this? Krona's mom is Medusa. Got a Twitch notification. But Krona's mother's Medusa, and basically, Medusa, how do I put this nicely? Didn't treat Krona, she gave Krona undesirable behavior as a parent. Let's do that. So at a young age, Krona had black blood in his body, which basically turned him into what is known in early episodes, so I'd say 4 through 8-ish. Well, no. He's most commonly referred to as the Demon Sword in most episodes, but eventually, once everybody gets to know him, they just call him Krona. But the black blood that Medusa put in his body basically made him into a demon sword, a weapon essentially. But his weapon partner, quote unquote, even though it's him, is named Ragnarok, and Ragnarok, from what I understand, just basically means end or death, which is very funny. But Ragnarok is the weapon, Krona is the Meister, even though they're the same entity, per se. This leads into conflict later on, but and so due to Medusa's undesirable behavior as a parent has basically led Krona to have a lot of mental health issues, including, but not limited to, anxiety. So basically, the amount of fear and worry that Medusa had put into this poor child had basically made him not know how to deal with everything. And he doesn't know how to deal with a lot of things because of it, I guess. And even though the anime was made in 2007, I think, or 2008. There's a good chance it was 2006 too, but either way, the series was made in the early 2000s, and somehow they perfectly depicted anxiety, even though that wasn't like a huge conversation that early. So like that was basically, this series is as old as me, so it's actually probably a little bit older than that, but it's like somewhere between 13 and 15 years old, and that still rings true. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about how well written the characters are in a lot of these episodes of the series, but anyway. And that was just one example, and I could give you so much more, but if I do, this video is gonna be really long, and I won't be able to hold through that. But next point is something my friend Blue Frog pointed out, because I had very politely shoved it in their face. No, I'm kidding, but I was like, dude, you need to watch this. And they were like, okay. And, yeah. But this is something Blue Frog pointed out, and a point that I'm gonna use. So basically, I'm stealing their idea. No, I'm kidding. But I'm gonna use their point, is what I'm trying to say. So, what they said was something along the lines of, all of the characters have their own, like, goals and aspirations, but the show focuses on all of them working towards that together. Like, all of them are reaching towards their separate goals while doing it together. So, like, an example would be Maka wants Soul to become a better weapon than Spirit, her dad, and she wants to become, like, as good as a Meister as her mom. So that's something she's working towards in the series. Black Star wants to surpass God, and that's something he works towards in the series. Death the Kid. Krona wants to defeat Medusa and make sure that she doesn't spread more despair in the world, and that's something he's working towards in the series. Focuses on all of them doing that together. So, and spoilers. Yeah, I forgot to mention this video is gonna have a lot of spoilers. But, like, we even see it in the final episode of the anime. Episode 51, if you're watching it on Netflix. But, so, even though at that point Maka and Soul aren't, like, finished on their death weapon establishing journey, Maka still learns Genie Hunter and a move even better than that called Kishin Hunter, and uses it to defeat the Kishin Ajura. So she became as good as a Meister as her mom, and probably even better than that. So, and in the final episode again, Black Star helps defeat the Kishin Ajura. So that was his way of surpassing God. My arm popped. And Krona doesn't know this yet, I don't think. I don't know if Miss Marie told him this after he recovered from his surgery, but Krona helps Miss Marie and Maka defeat Lady Medusa. So that's something he worked towards and achieved. And oh my god, they did it in the most perfect way. Oh my god, I'm just... But, let's see. What was another point I was gonna bring up? The OSTs are really good. Well, not OSTs. Well, I guess it's considered an OST, but the openings are really good. Especially the visuals. Like, I just finished rewatching it for the second time, and oh my god, I forgot how good that the visuals were for the second opening. Because, oh my god, it looks beautiful. I could spend hours dissecting that, but since I don't have, like, the video in front of me, I won't, and plus that would take way too long. But yeah, so, you know how I mentioned in the beginning that, like, almost all the characters are well written except for the fan service characters? Yeah, that's something Blue Frog pointed out as well. So, the fan service characters, so Blair and the... God, what is their names? I know it, but I don't, but I'm gonna remember it. But the mouse witches, and, like, so... Again, spoilers, but when, like, the mice sisters, the mice witch sisters, that's a mouthful, basically when they all, like, combine or stack, or whatever it's called, they basically turn into one human, instead of, like, 5 tiny ones. Pretty sure it's 5, it might be 6. But basically, I'll just show an image because I don't want to explain it. But yeah, and Blair is established in the first episode. Oh, fun fact, that was probably really loud, but fun fact, in the manga, it is when Maka and Soul are trying to get Blair's soul, which sets them back so much more than it should have, but in the manga it is established as several passing days, but in the anime it is seen as 2 days, from what I remember. And, like, there is so much, like, what's the word? It feels... It's not as authentic as what I'm trying to say. But, like, yeah. Also in the manga, sorry, I just, like, bought a Selena manga, and I've been reading it for several days. Like, that's all I've been reading for several days. But in the anime, Keishins are not called Keishins, they're called humans. So, and as it's established in the anime, when you eat so many human souls, when someone eats so many human souls, they become a Keishin. So, and this is going to sound wild, I know, but, hear me out. What if, in the manga, instead of them trying to work towards, like, getting their weapon partner to become a death scythe, they're trying to get their weapon partner closer to becoming a Keishin so that way they'd be so much more powerful. I know, it's a bit crazy, but, so that's a theory, but, and I don't know if that's mentioned, I don't know if this next point is mentioned in the anime, but I know it is in the manga. So, Soul says, so when Maka asks if Jack the Ripper is a human, Soul goes, oh yeah, that's a human, for sure. I am a weapon, but I take form as a human most of the time. So, let's say, hypothetically, when Meisters eat the human souls, and, like, actual human innocent souls, not the Keishin souls. Well, what the anime calls Keishin souls. But what if when the Meisters eat the human souls, they become the Keishans, but the weapons don't. The weapons just become death scythes. And so, when the Meister hypothetically becomes a Keishan, the death scythe is their weapon that they use to, like, kill humans and eat their souls. I know, it's a wild accusation, but I think that needs to be brung out more, because come on, man. Also about the manga, Krona, best boy, is referred to as a girl in the manga and a boy in the anime. So, in the manga, they refer to Krona with she, her pronouns, but in the anime, they refer to him with he, him pronouns. So, and since it was the early 2000s, I'm assuming something got lost in translation, except I would say that if the creator doesn't know what Krona's gender is. So, if the creator hypothetically said Krona is insert set gender here, then yeah, then it would be a mistranslation. But since the creator doesn't even know, it's possible that was on purpose. There's still a chance that it was, a mistranslation somewhere. I don't know if it was on the manga part or the anime part or someone's fault, but there's still a big chance that it was just a mistranslation. However, since the creator doesn't even know, there's a good chance that was on purpose. Although I don't know if the creator had anything to do with the anime, considering the art styles are significantly different. And by a long shot too. It was so jarring reading the manga for the first time. But yeah, you get my point. Also in the manga, they refer to Lord Death as Shingami-sama, and Shingami, directly translates to death. Fun fact. Oh my god. My hyperfixation is showing today. That never happens. But yeah. I just went on a whole ramble about the manga, didn't I? But that's what this series is for. It's for rambling. God, I'm so glad I came up with this idea. But, yeah. Also, the way that they depict Stein's madness is perfect. In the same way that they depict Krona's anxiety. It, immaculate chef's kiss. And so, in that one episode, I forgot which one it was. It's probably different from, when on streaming services where it separates the seasons than it does on Netflix. But, yeah. So, there's an episode, if you don't know, where Stein is, completely in madness. He's in Medusa's lair, quote-unquote, temporary lair, because she, dies or something. Well, no. She doesn't die, per se. Her body died first, but her soul didn't. Her soul, split into snakes or whatever. So Medusa's body died first, but her soul didn't. Her soul, transformed into snakes or whatever. And then, she, took the form of, a little girl, I don't remember if she's 3 or 5, but I'm gonna go with 5. That seems like the safe choice. But seeing as she doesn't go to school, it's probably 3. Yeah, 3-year-olds don't go to school, right? But she basically takes the form of a small child. And then she lives like that for a while. And then when Maka and Krona and Miss Marie go to fight Medusa and like save Stein from the madness, Maka uses, I think it was, I don't remember if it was Witch Hunter or Genie Hunter. 2 different moves, 2 different whatevers. But Stein helps her, like, get rid of Medusa's soul. And kills the soul, but not the body. I don't know how to explain this, okay? But yeah, anyway. So, in the episode where Stein is completely induced in the madness, it works out like a dream. So, he's in this, like, ghost town, completely filled with, like, mist, smoke, stuff. So, he's walking around and stuff, and he sees, like, little kids that are, like, trying to warn him and, like, get him away from there, or telling him that he needs to wake up, or, like, stuff like that. And then he eventually meets young him, and they, like, talk it out and stuff. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's beautiful. I love it. It works out like a dream, and I love that. But yeah, let's see. I feel like I wanted to talk about more than just that. Like, I don't write scripts for my videos, and I especially didn't want to do it for this. So it's a series made for rambling. So, and like in my mind I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely not gonna forget to talk about that. But at the same time I was like, don't forget to talk about that. And now I don't remember what it is or what it was. So, yeah. I knew it. The Mice Witch sisters are the Mizune sisters. Oh my god. I'm so dumb. But yeah. God. I know I wanted to talk about something else. Oh. I just remembered. But Soul Eater, even though Soul Eater was ahead of its time, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it perfectly depicts, like, mental illness. So, we saw that in the case of Krona. But what no one really talks about much is that Death the Kid is OCD coded. If you don't know what that means, coded basically means they have like the blueprints for something. So like in the case of Death the Kid, he's OCD coded, so he like lays out the blueprint for OCD. So, and we see that in the case of everything has to be symmetrical. So, and like, he also like perfectly depicts anxiety, although the OCD could be an ADHD thing, because, you know, OCD isn't just everything has to be perfect, but in the way that it could be ADHD could be he's hyperfixating on symmetry, woo. But, and like, in the episode where him, Liz, and Patty are going to fight the Pharaoh, I know he has a name. Don't remember what it was. But point being, and like when they get in the temple, and he's like worrying that the thing, that one room, and you can tell I'm very smart, but yeah, where he's, I know what I'm talking about, like where he's wearing that his portrait or painting or whatever wasn't like perfectly symmetrical with everything. That could be like, that could like be anxiety about the situation or this. You can probably get my point with, I'm not good at articulating. Let's see. Black Star. Again, nobody really talks about this because it's not as obvious. But Black Star is like pretty obviously autism coded or autistic coded. I don't know what's the right terminology. Like saying that he wants to like surpass God and like you can tell I know what I'm talking about. And like, I don't want to like sound mean or anything, but like when he yells the rules of being an assassin, I think, where he's like, rule number 1 of being an assassin or something. Like that could be like lack of situational awareness, or like, I'm very smart. Yeah. Yeah. But like I said before, not good at articulating. Let's see. What else was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah. All of the witches are like animal themed. I think that's the word for it. But like Erica Frog is a frog. Free, he's technically a wizard, I think. But like he's technically a wizard. He holds magic powers. Or as we say in the Genshin fandom, a catalyst. But like he doesn't need a weapon or a meister to fight. So by that standard, he's technically a witch. And he's like a werewolf or something. Medusa's a snake, or that too. But like she's represented by snakes. The Mizune sisters are represented by mice or mouses. Rats. Is same difference. I think that's all the witches that are established. But you know, you get my point. Also, in like the first, what are the episodes that Stein gets introduced? I think it's the 4th episode. Yeah, because it was like the first chapter after the prologue. So yeah, in like the 4th-ish episode, when Stein gets introduced, and Spirit is like, oh my god, he used to do like experiments on me. I personally think that was a form of ADHD, because every time, so Stein obviously shows signs of ADHD by so like the I'm going to dissect you now, or like the dissection like references, I don't know if they're references or what, but you get my point. Like, that could be a form of hyperfixation, and experiments could, well, Stein was, or no. Stein doesn't perform experiments in his sleep. But when Stein was, like, performing experiments on spirit, then that could be a form of, like, acting on the hyperfixation. So, like, take for example, when my hyperfixation was Danganronpa, I made Danganronpa content. That was me acting on my hyperfixation. Can you get what I'm trying to say? Again, not good at articulating at all. But you can, like, kind of get my point, even without me full-on explaining. But yeah. So, let's see. Oh yeah, and the witches thing, what's her face? What's her name? Arachne, again, obviously a witch. She doesn't need a weapon or meister to fight. So, obviously a witch. Also, people refer to her as a witch, so I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. But, like, she's represented by a spider. I don't know if you know this, but word is in her name, and it's the same prefix as in arachnophobia, which is her organization. But, like, the common prefix in arachne and arachnophobia is referring to 8-legged bugs. I forgot what those are called exactly. Hold on. I am going to look it up here right now. God. You know what? Never mind. I won't. I can't think of sentences. My brain is dead. But yeah. Since I can't really think of anything else, I'm just gonna end it here. Expect an episode on Danganronpa and Genshin. What's another series I have been fixated on? I think that's all I'm gonna do now. For now. So, yeah. See you in the next